For navigating to Evalo's calendar, as soon as the admin logs in, they are taken to the homepage. And from here, in the header, there is an app tray. The admin can click on it. And from here, they can click on calendar. So they would be taken to the homepage of calendar. Now, Evalo's calendar is a powerful tool which is designed to help tutoring businesses streamline scheduling and time management. It enables tutors, students, and parents to stay organized. It minimizes scheduling conflicts and enhances the overall business efficiency. With customizable views and advanced filtering options, Evalo's calendar is built to meet the unique needs of one-to-one tutoring businesses. So you can see that from the sidebar, there is a calendar homepage which the admin is currently on. Now in the homepage, there are three different views: weekly view, monthly view, and then we have the yearly view of calendar. Then we have the planner, then calendar analytics, event requests, availability, and time off. With so many features, the Evalo's calendar makes it easy for admins to schedule, remind, record, and reconcile events. If, as an admin, you want to create an account on Evalo from the marketing website, when you click on sign up, you would be taken to this page where you can see that you will have to select an account type, whether you're an individual tutor or you're a tutoring business. So suppose as an admin, if you select individual tutor, you would be asked to enter your email ID. Suppose you've entered your email ID, then you click on verify email, then a verification code would be sent to your email that you have entered. So you can go to your email, check the code, and add the code here. Once you've added the code, you'll click on continue. Then you would be asked to set up a password for your account. Once you've entered a password, then you click on continue. Now your account has been created. So here you would be asked whether you want to choose calendar, invoicing, or PrepUp. These are the three products that we offer. So if you click on continue, you would be taken to the subscription page of calendar. So here you can see that there are three types of subscription for calendar: Explorer, Builder, and Achiever. Since this is for individual tutors, these three are the subscription tiers, and depending on whichever subscription you want, that can be taken up. Below you can see that there is a table for comparing all the plans. So you can see what are the features that is being offered for the product, and with each plan, what is the usage limit. So you can go through this, and once you've selected a plan, you will be taken to the review and payment page where you will enter your card details. If you have any promotion or discount code, you can apply the code here. And here you can see that the items which are present in your cart. If you want to add more products, you can just click on this add product, and then you can add another product with a different subscription. And if you want to make changes in your existing subscription plan that you've chosen, you can click on modify. Then you will be taken to this page again. Now you can select a different plan if you wish for. Now here you'll enter your card details. Once the details are entered, you can check the summary, and then you'll click on start trial. Now you can see that the subscription has been successful. You'll click on continue. You would be asked basic details to set up your account. Then you'll have to enter first name, last name, and stuff. So suppose you've entered this, you can enter a phone number, then your business name, then your business type. And once you've entered all the details, you'll click on this button which says start using Evalo. Once you click on this, since the company name exists, we can choose a different one. Now we click on the button. As you can see, your account has been created and you're taken to the calendar homepage. So this is how you can sign up to the platform. Once the admin has set up their account, to enter the basic account details and business related information, what they can do is they can navigate to settings. Here you can see under general settings, you have the account page where the admin can see their name, email ID. If they click on view profile, they would be taken to their profile page. Then we have the basic information: first name, last name, email, phone, account type, and password. If they want to change any of it, they can just click on the edit icon and they can update the details from the model. And if they want to update the password, they can click on this update password. The module will get triggered where they can update their password. Now coming to the business related information, here you can see that there's an option to add a brand logo. Then we have the company related information, company's name, type, support email, terms and conditions URL. All of these can be edited using the edit icon. This module will get triggered where all the details can be entered with respect to the company. In case the admin wants to add a logo, they can upload the logo for their brand. Once they've done that, they click on save. Their brand logo has been updated. And similarly, if the admin wants to white label the platform, so under brand highlight, there is this option called white labeling. Under this, we have all the brand related options. We have a page called brand element. Here you can see that the admin has an option to add a website URL if they have any, brand logo, which they've already added, then a logo in white in case the background is a darker color, then a white logo can be added so that the logo is very prominent in terms of a dark background also. Then a favicon can also be added, which would basically the icon that would appear on your browser. And then the color theme can also be modified and adjusted. So if the admin wants to add a new color for their platform, right? So they can choose a color like this. Once I've done that, you click to add collection. They select this color. They click on save changes. Once the changes are saved, you can see that the platform will get white labeled depending on the color that the admin has selected. Then we have an option called domain integration where the admin can create their own subdomain and they can enter that. So that URL will become activated. Then we have the sign up form preview. So basically, when the admin is adding any new user, right? Parents, student, or tutors. So this is the form that they would be seeing. So for student parent sign up, the admin can choose to edit out any form if they wish to. These are the questions the admin can edit out or add new questions. And similarly, they can see the preview here of the form. So these are the basic settings with respect to the business and the account type that the admin can manage from here. For inviting users to the platform, in the header, you can see that there is an icon for users. The admin can click on this. They would be taken to the all users page where all the users who are added to the organization would be listed in this table. As you can see here, only the admin's name is there because there are no current users apart from the admin, which are part of this organization. So in order to invite users, what the admin can do is, you can see in the header, there's a button called new user. The admin will click on this. Then there will be a drop down for selecting the user type. Depending on whichever user the admin wants to invite, they'll select the type. They'll add their first name, last name, and email address. Once they've entered all the fields, there is a checkbox which says invite users to create an account on Avago. If this checkbox is selected, so this user who's being added will receive an email with a sign up link to the platform, which will help them create an account on Avago. In case the admin deselects this checkbox, then this user would be added to the organization, but their account won't be created. Like they won't receive any sign up link. So the admin, if they want to invite the users to create their account, they'll click on this checkbox. And then once all the details have been filled, the admin will click on the add button. Now, as you can see that the user has been added. Now, this symbol that you're seeing, right? It says user account not created, which means this user has been invited. And since the checkbox was selected by the admin, this user has received an email on this email ID with a sign up link. So they would have to go to their email, click on the link, and then create their account. So that's how they would be invited to the platform. From here, the admin can select whether they want to map a particular student, a student group, or a tutor. So suppose they want to map a particular student, they would select the student's name. Once the student's name has been selected, so all the tutors who are mapped to this particular student would appear in this table. In case the admin wants to make any changes here, so above the table on the right side, you can see that there's a drop down called map new tutors. So once the admin clicks on that, The tutors who are already mapped would be in the selected state, and the remaining tutors who are part of the organization would be in the unselected states. So if the admin wants to map a new tutor and unmap any other existing tutors, they would make the changes and then they would click on the apply button. So once they confirm the changes, you can see that now the tutors who are mapped to the student has been updated. Similarly, for student groups, the same can be done. The admin can select a student group, then they would go to this drop down. They would select a student to map. They would go to this drop down. They would select a tutor to map. The admin can select the tutor, and then in the table, the admin would be able to see all the students who are mapped to this particular tutor. So if the admin wants to make any changes on the right side above the table, the admin can click on the drop down. All the students who are part of the organization would show up here. So the admin can make any changes. If they wanna unmap any of the students or map any new student, they can simply check and uncheck that box. And once they click on apply, they confirm, the table would get updated and the students would get updated who would be mapped to this particular tutor. So this is how the admin can map a student to a tutor and vice versa. In case the student doesn't have any parent details added to their profile, so when a student is signing up to the platform, when they're creating their account, what happens is they are asked to enter the details of the parent, the first name, last name, and email ID. So in case the student hasn't entered any parent details during the sign up, what they can do is the admin can also add the details for the parent on student's behalf, and they can map that parent to this particular student. So for doing that, the admin will have to go to the student's profile. Once they are on the profile, you can see that in the header there is this button called edit profile. So the admin will click on that, and here there will be a drop down in this model at the bottom where the admin can select the parent whom they want to map to this particular student. So all the parents who are part of the platform, right, those would be shown in the drop down. So currently there is just one parent, and if the admin wants to map this parent to the student, the admin would select the name. Once the name is selected for the associated parent, the admin will click on save. So now you can see that this particular parent has been mapped to the student. So this is how the admin can map a parent to a student. Similarly, the student can also go to their profiles, and by clicking on the edit profile button, they can associate a parent to their account. If the admin wants to create a new group, what they can do is from the header, they will first navigate to the users. Once they click that, they would be taken to the all users page. Now here from the sidebar, the admin would need to go to the groups page. Once they click on groups, they would be taken to this page. This page contains a table. In this table, all the groups that has been created by the admin would be shown here. You can see that currently there is one group here. If the admin wants to create a new group, above the table on the right side, there is a button called new group. The admin would click on that. A model will open up. Here, the admin would need to enter the name of the group. Once they have done that, the admin would select the students whom they want to put in a group. Once the students have been selected, the admin would select a tutor. Once they've added the tutor, they can add one tutor or multiple tutors. Then the admin can view the details, the students and tutors they've added. Once all the details are reviewed by the admin, they would click on create. As soon as they do that, you can see that the group has been created. In case the admin would like to edit out this group, what they can do is you can see that at the end of each row, there's a button with a three dot. The admin would click on that, and there are two options, edit and delete. If the admin wants to edit this particular group, be it add more students or tutors or remove any of them. So the same model will open up and the admin can do the actions. And once they click on save, the changes would get saved. And if the admin wants to delete the group, within this model only, on the left side at the bottom, there's a delete group button. the admin can click on that, or they can do that by this menu also. There's a delete button. The admin will click on that. A confirmation model will get triggered. So once the admin confirms, this group would get deleted. So this is how the admin adds a group. And then if they want, they can edit. For creating a new event on calendar, in the header section, we have this button called new event. The admin can click on that. A full page gets triggered where you can see that there are fields for filling out all the details. Here, the select tutor field is already pre-filled by the admin's name. So the admin can select any other tutor. Then they can add students for this particular event. And then the start date, time, end time, and end date of this particular session can be filled out. If the admin wants to make it a recurring session, they can select this checkbox. They can select the frequency, whether they want the session to repeat weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or daily. If they select daily, they can select an end date for the session. Since the start date is May 21st, the end date would be, suppose, 31, and select a time slot. Then they can select a location, select the service, topic. So once all the details have been added, so billing rate, pay rate would be filled. Once all the details have been added, the admin will click on the schedule button. They would be asked whether they would want to confirm this event or not. Once they click on schedule, this event would get created and it would show in the homepage of calendar for the admin. As you can see that this event has been scheduled with these students, these tutors. So this is how the admin creates an event. If an admin wants to book up consultation with a parent or a student, they will click on new event. In new event, in the top, you can see that there are 4 different event types: session, consultation, internal meeting, and office work. So the admin will click on consultation tab. Once they've selected that, all the fields would appear for this particular consultation, whatever the admin needs to fill out. Then they would select the users with whom the admin wants to book up a consultation. In case there's a conflict in any of the timings with one or more attendees, this would show up. So you can see that this particular user has a conflict in time. So the time slots can be adjusted. Yeah. Once all the details have been filled, the admin clicks on schedule. Once they confirm, this particular consultation gets booked. So as you can see that a consultation has been booked by the admin. All the attendees of the call are shown here. So this is how the admin can book a consultation. In case the admin wants to set up a meeting with all the tutors and the other admins of the organization, they can do that by using the event type, which is internal meeting. So the admin would need to click on the new event button. Once they do that, they would be able to see the 4 event types on the top left corner. So from here, the admin can navigate to the internal meeting tab. Once they click on that, the details which would be required to be filled by the admin would appear below. So the admin would need to select the date on which they want to schedule this meeting. They would select the time slot. Then they would select all the attendees. So in this drop down, all the tutors and admins who are part of the organization would be shown. So the admin can select all the attendees. Once I've selected them, the admin would select the mode, if it's an online event or if it's at the office. So once all the details have been filled, the admin can add an agenda. It's not a mandatory field, but if they want, they can add an agenda for the meeting. Once all the details have been filled, the admin would click on schedule. Once they confirm, you can see that this particular event has been scheduled and it would appear on the homepage of calendar. And all the other attendees who have been a part of this particular event would be receiving an email notification about this internal meeting which is scheduled. So this is how the admin can create an internal meeting by using the new event tab. If the admin wants to create an event which would only be used to indicate time which is utilized in administrative or any of the miscellaneous tasks by the internal team members, what the admin can do is they can click on the new event button which is present in the header. Once they click on that, out of these 4 event types, the admin can choose office work. Now, once they choose that, all of the fields would appear and the admin would need to fill out the details. Once they've added the attendees, they select a date on which they want this event to be held at. Then they'll select a time slot. Then they can add any details of the work. Once they've added that, they can add a payroll. And once all the details are filled, the admin can click on this button, which is present on the bottom right corner. Once they click on schedule, this event would get scheduled and the admin would be able to see this on their homepage of calendar. You can see that the event has been added here. The admin can hover over the card and they can look at the details which are added. If they want to look at the expanded model, they can just click on the card and they would be able to see all the details. So this is how the admin can add an event which they would want to schedule only for miscellaneous tasks that involves the internal users. If the admin wants to reschedule any event, in the hover card, there are 3 buttons: edit, reschedule, and cancel. So the admin can click on reschedule. The event model will get triggered where all the pre-filled details would be shown. The admin can choose a different time slot since they want to reschedule this. Suppose they want to reschedule this to 6:30. In case there is a conflict with any of the attendees, a different time slot can be selected. Suppose they select 12:45. They can also change the date. They can change the recurring. Once all the details have been updated, the changes have been made, the admin will click on update. Now, since this was a recurring session, the admin can choose whether they want to make changes to just this particular instance or they want to change all the instances. Like whatever sessions would happen. So, would this change be reflected in all of them or just for this particular session? So, if the admin wants to make changes to this instance only, so they'll select this, they'll click on update. Now you can see that the details have been updated. This session has been moved up. And the students and parents who are part of the session would receive an email notifying them of the recent changes. So this is how any session can be rescheduled by the admin. If the admin wants to edit out any of the event which has been scheduled, you can see that in the hover card, there are 3 options: edit, reschedule, and cancel. So the admin can click on edit. The full page will open up containing all the details of the session. Then the admin can choose to change whichever detail they want. Suppose they want to change the time, they can select a different time, they can change the time slot, they can change the attendees if they wish for. Once the changes have been done, there is an update button at the bottom right. So the admin will click on update. Since this was a recurring session, they would need to decide if they want to change this, all the changes that they've done. Should this be reflected in this particular instance or all the sessions that are a part of this would change? So if the admin wants to just change this instance, this button is selected, they'll click on update. So this particular instance of the session gets updated. So now you can see that the session has been updated. For deleting an event, the admin can simply hover over any of the cards. There is a button called cancel. They can click on cancel. Since this is a recurrent session, the admin can choose if they want to just cancel out this particular instance or they want to cancel out this entire, all the recurring, all the sessions which are part of the recurrent schedule. So if the admin wants to just cancel out this, they'll choose this instance only. They'll click on cancel. Now you can see that the session has been cancelled. If any of the external user who are not the part of this current organization, they want to set up a meeting with the admin, that can also happen. The admin will have to share this booking link with them. So you can see in the calendar homepage, just above the calendar view, we have this booking link button. So as soon as the admin clicks on that, a new page will open up. So the admin can share this link with all of these users, and then those users who are external, they can book a meeting with the admin. So as you can see in this page, all the details which are required for booking up the meeting is present. So the user can select the duration for the meeting. Then they can select the time. Suppose on 28th, they want to have the meeting with the admin. Then they'll select the time. Then they'll describe what kind of a user type are they, whether they're a student, a parent, or a tutor. Once they selected that, they'll enter their name. Once all the details have been entered by the user, their name and email ID, they can add any additional details if they wish for. Once they've done that, the user would click on schedule meeting. So now you can see that a meeting with the admin has been scheduled for this user. So this is how the external members who are not the part of the organization can set up a meeting with the admin. The admin will just have to share this booking link with them. And once they do that, the users would be able to set up a meeting. In case the admin wants to check if they've received any of the requests, what they can do is they'll sign in to the platform using their credentials. Once they're signed in, they would go to the calendar from the app tray. You can see all the subscribed products would appear in the app tray. They'll click on calendar. They would land on calendar homepage. Now, from the sidebar, the admin can navigate to the event request page. So once they click on the event request, all the requests that this admin has received would be appearing here. Now, as soon as a student has sent a request, a card like this would appear on this page. So as you can see that this particular student has requested for a reschedule of a session that was supposed to be held from 8:15 to 9:15. So now what the admin can do is the admin can either approve the request or they can decline this request. And in order to see what reason has been stated by the student for this reschedule, there is an icon for information. The admin can just hover over it, and in the description, the admin will be able to see whatever reason has been entered by the student. So as you can see in the description, the student has entered that they would be unavailable at this time and they would be available at 3 p.m. So what the admin can do is they click on reschedule, then the model for this particular event would open up and the admin can now choose to change the time as per that student's availability. So now the admin has selected a new time. They click on update. So here also there are two buttons, delete and update. If the admin clicks on delete, this session would get deleted and the student would get notified about this change. Once the admin clicks on update, they'll confirm the updated details. And now you can see that the request has gone away because the admin has approved of the request. So now a new email with the updated timings of the session would have been sent to all the associated attendees of the session. So this is how the admin can view any of the request by going to the sidebar and coming to the event request page. For viewing the requests that the admin has received, they can navigate to the event request page from calendar sidebar. Once they click on that, they would be taken to this page. Here, all the requests that the admin has received would be shown in this kind of a card format. So currently you can see that there is only one active request, which is for a cancellation of the session that has been scheduled by the admin. So the student has requested for a cancellation. If the admin wants to see the reason or the description that the student has stated, they can hover over this tooltip and within this, the reason would be shown. Now here, the admin can take two actions. Either they can approve the cancellation or they can decline this request. So if they click on cancel event, the request would get approved. And if they click on decline, suppose they want to decline this request, they'll click on decline. A confirmation model will get triggered. Here, once the admin clicks on the button for confirming, you can see that the request for cancellation has been declined. So this is how the admin can view the request and take actions for either approving the request or declining the requests. If the admin wants to apply filters on the calendar homepage, they can do that from the sidebar. You can see that in the sidebar of calendar, we have the filters. Once the admin clicks on it, this pop-up will open up. Here, there are several filters that the admin can apply. One is service. The admin can filter out the events which would be showing up in the homepage based on the service, then by students, tutors, parents, groups, session statuses, session notes, hourly rate, and location. So in case the admin wants to apply a filter, they want to see that for this particular student, which all events have been scheduled. Once they have figured on the name, they click on apply. You can see that now in the homepage of calendar, the admin is only able to see the sessions in which this particular student is on. Similarly, if the admin wants to check for a particular tutor, once they selected the tutor, they click on apply. The admin would be able to see all the events that the tutor is a part of. If the admin wants to remove the filters, they can click on this clear all, which is present in the pop-up on the top right. Once they click on this clear all, they click on apply. And now the admin will be able to see all the events in their calendar homepage. Now the admin has an option to save some of the filters as their default filters. So whenever the admin is logging into the platform and the landlord calendar homepage, those filters would automatically be applied. So suppose they want to filter out based on the service, who's this one, and they've selected this checkbox, and once they click on apply, so this filter would by default always be applicable. So even if the admin navigates to some other page and they come back to homepage, this filter would be applied. Or the admin has logged down and when they are logging in and they come to this page, calendar homepage, this filter will be applied. So this is how the admin can use filters and filter out the content on their calendar homepage. The admin can view the availability of multiple people at the same time. For that, they would need to go to the time block. In the drop down, all the team members and the students would be listed who are part of the organization. Depending on whatever the admin selects, suppose they want to see the availability of these three, right? So you can see in the top, the three selected users are shown and they are distinguished by different colors. And whatever availability is there for all of these three is being shown in this way. So this is how the admin can multiple people at the same time. In case the admin wants to check which all tutors are available for a particular duration of the day, what they can do is from the calendar page, they can navigate to the planner from the sidebar. Once they click on planner, they would be taken to this page where you can see that there are several filters. The first one is the date range. Then we have the start and end time. Then we have the time zone. And then we have the all filters pop up where the admin can filter out the content based on the services, topics, tutor status, and tutor rate. So if the admin wants to look for the availability of tutors who are present for this particular duration, starting from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Then once the time slot has been entered, the admin will click on find tutors and all the tutors who are available from this date to this date and for this particular duration will be shown in the table here. And if the admin wants to suppose check that whether these tutors are available for the entire duration, like continuously from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., they would click on this checkbox and then click on find tutors. So the table would filter out the content and it would only show the names of tutors who are available for the entire duration of this date range. And in case the admin wants to check out further details, they can hover over the name of the tutor. So the admin would be able to see the exact schedules and the upcoming time ops that has been added by the tutor. So this is how the admin can look at the availability of tutors for a particular time slot. And in case now that the admin has found a tutor who would be available for their desired time, they can directly schedule an event with them by clicking on the calendar icon, which is present at the end of each row. So once the admin clicks on this, you can see that the event create model has opened up. So the admin can fill out all the details which could be required to set up the event. And once all the details are filled, the admin would click on schedule and the event with this tutor would get scheduled. If the admin wants to check out the overview of calendar, they can do that by going to the calendar analytics page. Once they click on that, here you can see that there are different filters that are present. The date range filter, then we have the filter model which contains servers, students, tutors, parents, all of these filter types. Then we have the event status, based on which the admin can filter out the details. Then we have the student. Based on the selected student, the tables can be filtered out. Then based on the selected tutors. Now here, the admin would be able to see all the sessions, all the events that have been scheduled, which have been completed, which have been cancelled, and then the sessions which are no show. And then the admin would also be able to look at the projected revenue and the completed revenue that is there, if there are any leaked revenues, and what was the projected cost. And then below we have a table where there is a list of all the sessions that have been created and the statuses of those sessions. So this page essentially gives an overview of all the analytics of calendar. So the admin can come to calendar analytics anytime and look at the overview of all these. In calendar, the admin can set their own availability as well as the availability of other users. So how they can go about that is in the sidebar, there's this page called availability. The admin will click on this. Here in the top right, you can see that there are two buttons, change user and save. If the admin clicks on change user, a drop down would appear where all the users who are a part of this particular organization would appear. The admin can select any of the user. Once they selected a user, they'll click on submit. That user would show up here. So now the admin can select the time, the date. Suppose this is the availability that the admin wants to set for this particular user, right? So once all of the details have been entered, the admin clicks on save, and for this particular user, the availability has been set. Similarly, for a different user, the admin can select a different user. If you can submit, this user would show up here, and then the admin can select the time slot. If they want to add an availability for a single day, suppose on Monday, this particular tutor would be available from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and then they want to add a different time slot. So on Monday only, for a different time slot, this user would again be available. So they can click on this add button. Once they do that, different time slots would appear. Now here, another time slot can be selected from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So on Monday, this tutor would be available from 10 a.m. till 11:30, then again from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Now, if the admin wants this time to be reflected across all the 3 days selected, they can just click on the copy icon that's there. Once they do that, for the rest of the days also that has been selected, this particular time slot would apply. Once the admin has done all the changes, they'll click on save. Then for this particular user, this availability has been set. In case the admin wants to look at the availability, what they can do is in calendar home, they can click on time block. They can select the user. Once they selected the user, you can see that the availability for this user is being shown in the highlighted state. So this is how admin sets the availability for any user. For editing the availability of any user, the admin can click on this button, which is there on the top right corner, change user. Once they click on that, a model will appear. From here, they can select the user for whom they want to set the availability for. Suppose I selected this, they select the user, they'll click on submit. So whatever availability has been set for this user will appear here. And then the admin can make the changes as per they want. Suppose they want to add a new slot, they want to remove any of the existing slots, they want to make any other slot deactivated. So they can do all of that. Once the changes have been made, the admin will click on the save button and then the changes have been updated. So this is how the admin can change the availability for any of the users. If the admin wants to add their time off, what they can do is from calendar in the sidebar, they can navigate to the time off page. Once they click on time off, they would be taken to this page. You can see that this page contains a table. This table essentially contains all the time off that the admin has added for other users and for themselves. So in case the admin wants to add a new time off, just above the table on the right side, you can see that there is an add button. The admin would click on that, a model will open up. In this model, the admin can select the user for whom they are adding the time off. Once they've added the user, they would proceed to select the time zone if they want to change it, and then they would add the date range. You can see that the date has been selected as today's date by default. In case the admin wants to add a time off which is for the entire day, so you can see that this checkbox is selected. So the admin can leave this checkbox in the selected state only, since this checkbox says unavailable all day, and the admin is adding a time off for this particular user who would be unavailable for this entire day. So the admin would leave this selected. In case the admin would have wanted to add a time off in which, like this particular user would only be unavailable for a certain duration of time for the day, so they would have unchecked this, and then the time slots would have appeared. Since this user would be unavailable all day, this checkbox would remain selected. Once the admin has reviewed all the details, the admin would click on submit. So as soon as that is done, you can see that the time off for this user has been added by the admin. So this is how the admin can add a time off for any of the user who would be unavailable for the entire day. The admin has the option to add a recurrent time off for any user also. For that, they would click on the add button, which is present above the table on the right side. Once they click on that, this model gets triggered. Here from the drop down, the admin would select a user. Once they selected a user, they would need to uncheck this box. You can see that unavailable all day is selected. As soon as they uncheck this box, the date and the time slots would appear. So depending on the date that is selected, suppose they want to select a time from 5:30 till 6:15 for 45-minute duration, and they want to make sure that this particular user is unavailable only from 5:30 to 6:15 on this day. So once I've set the time, they've unchecked this box, they'll click on submit, and now you can see that the start time and end time of their time off has been set. For the other two users, there are no start and end time because these two users have been marked as unavailable all day. So that's why the start and end time isn't present. But for this user, there is a start and end time. So this is how the admin can set the unavailability of any user. The admin has the option to add a recurring timer for any user also. For that, they would click on the add button, which is present above the table on the right side. Once they click on that, this model gets triggered. Here from the drop down, the admin would select a user. Once they selected a user, they would need to uncheck this box. You can see that unavailable all day is selected. As soon as they uncheck this box, the date and the time slots would appear. So depending on the date that is selected, suppose they want to select a time from 5:30 till 6:15 for 45-minute duration, and they want to make sure that this particular user is unavailable only from 5:30 to 6:15 on this day. So once I've set the time, they've unchecked this box, they'll click on submit, and now you can see that the start time and end time of their time off has been set. For the other two users, there are no start and end time because these two users have been marked as unavailable all day. So that's why the start and end time isn't present. But for this user, there is a start and end time. So this is how the admin can set the unavailability of any user. If the admin wants to edit or delete any of the time off, you can see that in the table, there are these two buttons on the far right side of each row component. If they click on edit, the same model would appear and the admin can change any details. And once they've done the changes, they'll click on submit of this particular time off would get updated. For deleting any of the time offs, what the admin can do is in each row, there are two buttons, edit and delete, which are present on the extreme right side. So if the admin wants to delete any of the time offs, they can click on this delete button that's present. A confirmation model will get triggered. Once they confirm the deletion, the time off for that particular user would get deleted. So this is how the admin can delete any time off added for a user. When the admin lands on calendar, they would have to set certain defaults, which can be managed using the settings icon, which is present on the header. So when the admin clicks on this, this module will appear in which the admin can set all the defaults which would be applicable to their calendar. So firstly, the admin can select a time zone. So if they have selected this Eastern time, New York, this would be the default time zone. So whatever sessions or events that the admin is creating, by default, this time zone would be followed for them. Then the admin can set a default service and a default topic. Once I've done that, they can add a default location. So all these default settings that they're updating here, these would be auto pull whenever they are creating a new event. So these are some of the local settings that the admin will have to set. And once they're done with that, they can click on the save button. Once they do that, their settings would get updated for their calendar. So this was the local setting. The admin can navigate to the global settings of calendar as a product, which includes the permissions and other tags and session reconciliations. So how they can access that is they can either click on the settings icon and click on the go to advanced settings button, or they can also navigate to the settings page using this drop down. So once they click on settings, they would be taken to the settings page, and from here they can navigate to the product settings and then click on calendar. So now you can see that there are 3 tabs for calendar: session tags and reconciliation, permissions, and integrations. So in session tags and reconciliations, the admin can add session tags that would basically help them categorize their calendar sessions in a better manner. So all these tags are included. If the admin decides to, turn off any of them, so the admin can simply click on this toggle and this particular session tag, it would get turned off. So this would no longer appear in the new event module. So only the remaining 4 would appear. If the admin wants to edit any of the existing tags, what we can do is they can click on the edit icon. Once they do that, you can see that the admin can edit the heading or any of the tags from here. In case the admin wants to add a new session tag, they can click on the add new button, which is present on the right side. Once they click on that, they can enter a heading, then they can add a tag. Suppose they want to add a tag, so they can click on this. They've entered the name of the tag, and then they can click on the plus icon. So now you can see that this tag has been added for this particular heading. And once the admin clicks on save, you can see that the session tags has been added here. Then moving on to the second tab, which is permissions, the admin can set default permissions which would apply to all the user types. So all the users who are part of the organization and who are using calendar, these permissions would be applicable to them. And also for all the new users who would be joining the platform. So here the admin can set the default view of calendar. Here weekly is selected. So weekly would be the default view for all the users. Then the admin can choose whether they want to allow the tutors to delete scheduled sessions. They can simply turn this toggle on or off. Then if the admin wants to allow the tutors to create a new session, they can turn this on. You can see that this is turned on here. So the tutors can create new session. Similarly, tutors can schedule consultations. Then if the admin wants to allow students and parents to view session tags, the session tags which appears in the events page. So if this is turned on, the student and parents would be able to view the session tags. Then if the student and parents can request events from their calendar, so if the admin turns this off, so the student and parent won't be able to send any request for any of the events. But since this is turned on, the student and parents who are part of this organization, they would be able to send requests for any event. Then they can choose if they want to auto approve all event requests. So either the admin would have to manually go and approve all the event requests by going to the event request page from the calendar sidebar. Or if they select this, then all the event requests which the admin would be receiving, they would be auto approved. So the admin can choose from the drop down that if all the event requests would be auto approved by the admin. For all the other admins also, this auto approve would be applicable. Or for all the users who would be receiving any kind of event request, for them, the requests would get auto approved. So if the admin selects on all users, then the event requests that all the user types are receiving, they would get auto approved. Then the admin can select a default event type for new students. So out of sessions and consultations, suppose session is selected here. So sessions would be the default event type for all the new students. Similarly, parents, if the admin wants to send parents a reminder email before a scheduled session, so the admin can select the duration before which they would want the email reminder to be sent. In case they don't want any reminder to be sent, they can just set it to don't send. Then similarly for students, if they want the email reminders to be received by them, they can select a duration and then show tutors event booking link on the public profile. So if the admin enables it, so tutors would also be able to see the booking link button that is there just above the calendar view, and tutors would also be able to schedule meetings externally using the booking link. Moving on to the integrations tab, we have 3 integrations: Google Calendar and Meet, Outlook Calendar, and Zoom. So in case any of the integrations hasn't been connected yet, the admin can simply click on the connect button and then they can do the needful. So these were the global settings for calendar, where the admin can manage session tags and reconciliation, permissions, and all the integrations. And then these were the local settings of calendar which the admin would need to set before they start using calendar. If the admin wants to go to their profiles and complete the setup, they can navigate to their profiles page from this drop down. Here you can see that there's a profile option at the top. The admin would click on this and they would be taken to their profiles page, where you can see that there are multiple sections which the admin would need to fill out for completing their setup. So the first section is the header. If the admin clicks on edit profile, this module would appear where the admin would need to enter their basic details like their first name, last name, email, LinkedIn, if they have any, phone number. About me, they can enter a paragraph which has a word limit of 300. Then they can enter their education and experience, and then they can enter a profile picture. Once all the details have been entered, the admin would click on save and this section would get updated. Moving on to the next section, we have the expertise. So the admin can hover over it and the edit icon would appear. The admin would click on the edit icon. This module will open up where there are 4 fields. And once the admin has filled out all the fields, they've entered their expertise, the add new button will get enabled. So the admin, if they want to add more than 4 expertise, they can click on this add new button. And then below, more fields would appear where the admin can enter the expertise. So once all the details are entered, the admin will click on save and their expertise would get updated. Similarly, for this section, if the admin clicks on the edit icon, you can see that there is a field where the admin can paste any YouTube link of a video which would highlight kind of what their tutoring company basically does. So once the admin has pasted that link, they click on save and that video would get loaded here. Then moving on to the next section, we have the interests. So the admin would click on the edit icon. They can update their interests. They can simply click on a tag if they want to update their interest, or if they want to remove anything, they can click on that. And then once the changes have been made, the admin would click on save and this section would get updated. Then similarly for tutor reviews, the admin would click on the edit icon. This module will open up. Here, the admin can enter all the details, by whom is the review given, then the service for which the review has been given, then the date of review, the content for the review. And once all the details are entered, the admin will click on save and that review would appear here. If there are more than 1 reviews, so once the admin has filled out this, they want to add more reviews, they click on the add new button. Then another review section would open up with same fields and the admin can fill out all the details. Then moving on to this section, you can see that this section is named as admin controls. So this section would only be visible and accessible by the admin. So only the admin can view this and make any changes to the section. And the above section would be similar to what we have for tutor profiles. And if a tutor is viewing their profile, they would only be able to see till the tutor review section. And below would only be the admin controls, which would be operated or handled by the admin. So here you can see that there are multiple sections again. the admin can enter the basic details, the street address, country, state, city, zip code. Once all the details have been entered, the admin would click on save and the changes would get reflected here. For tutor status, the admin can click on this drop down, and from here, the admin can select to update the status. So all the options that you're viewing here in the drop down are actually added in the settings. So in case the admin wants to change or add any more status, what they can do is they can navigate to the settings page. They click on the settings from the header. Once they click that, under product settings in CRM, we have this page called user management. So here you can see there are two sections. The first one is the lead statuses and the second one is the tutor statuses. So all these options were visible in the drop down. So if the admin wants to add a new status for the tutor, they can click on the add new button. They can enter the status. Once they've added that, they click on save and the new status would get added here. The admin can also assign a default status for all the tutors who would be joining the platform, like any new user who's joining, right? So if they're selected a default status, suppose here interviewed is selected. So if a new tutor is joining the platform, by default, their status would be assigned as interviewed. Then going back to the profile section, there's this section for payment details. The admin can enter their payment details by clicking on the edit icon. Once I've entered that, they'll click on save and the details would get reflected here. And here, the admin would receive any feedback if they have, that would be shown here. And then if they have any student related feedback, so that overview would be shown here. And then this card, the service rates, if the admin clicks on the edit icon, the admin can add the services that will be taken by them and the billing rate and pay rate for each of those services. So what's going to happen is based on the value that the admin has entered for billing rate and pay rate, these values would be auto pulled whenever a new session is being created and the admin is added as a tutor and these services selected. Suppose service 1 to 3 is selected for a particular session. So once the service is selected, these values would get auto pulled in the session page. So the family who's taking the session and the tutoring business, they would have to pay this particular tutor this amount for their service. And similarly, if the admin clicks on this delete, the service would get deleted. If they want to add new service, they can click on the add new service button. Once they do that, the drop down would appear. The admin can add the service for whom they want to add the value. Once the value has been added, the admin will click on save and these details would get updated. So right now you can see that in the drop down, since these two services has been added, there's only one more service showing. If the admin wants to add more services, what they can do is, first I'll save this. As soon as you save, the changes would get reflected here. So in case the admin wants to add more services, they can navigate to the settings page. Once they do that, from the sidebar, there's a page called preferences. So the admin will click on that and under preferences, there is services and topics. The admin would click on the services and topics. So here you can see that currently there are 3 services which are added for this particular organization. If the admin wants to turn any of these services off, they can simply click on this toggle and they can turn this service off. So once this has been turned off, this service would no longer be shown in the drop-down of the tutor's profile. If the admin wants to add a new service, they can click on the add service button from the top right. They'll enter the service name. Suppose once I've entered the service name, they'll add the topics. Once the topic has been added, the admin will click on plus icon and this topic would get added. Once the details have been added, the admin would click on save. And now you can see that a new service has been added. So if the admin wants to update any service and topics or add new services, they can do that via settings. And going back to the profiles page. So in the drop down for service rates, all the services which have been added would appear and then the admin can set the billing rate and pay rate accordingly. So this was all about the admin profile and how the admin can come back to this profile and update their profile anytime. And in the home page, the admin would be able to see the percentage of completion for their profile. So currently you can see that it's updated at 50%. So it means that the admin has completed the 50% of their profile. So if the admin wants to complete the setup entirely, they can click on the view profile button and they would be taken here. Then they can continue to fill out the details and complete their profile setup. Whatever service that the admin has to offer, right? So those would be added by the admin here. Suppose they selected the service, they would enter a billing rate for this and a pay rate. And based on the values that have been entered for billing and rate and pay rate, these values would be auto-populated whenever this particular service is being used for any of the sessions. In case the admin wants to add more service, they can click on this button. Then the drop down would appear. Here the admin would select the service. They can enter the rate. Once they've added the details, the admin will click on save. So once that, the details would get updated here. Now the services that you can see here in the drop down, right? So these are being auto-pulled from the settings. So in case the admin wants to add more services, what they can do is they can navigate to settings. In settings, in the sidebar, under preferences, there is a page called services and topics. The admin will click on that. Here, whatever service is added by the admin would show up. If the admin wants to add more service, the admin can click on this add service button. They can enter a service name and then they can add topics under that service. Suppose they wanna add, then they can add topics. Once they've added a topic, they'll click on plus. This topic would get added for this particular service. Once they've added that, the admin will click on save and this service would get added here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you found this video helpful. For further assistance, you can reach out to our support team or book a demo with us. We'd love to help you get the most out of our calendar features.